IFOMP 2020, Innovate and Integrate, happens to be in Melbourne, Australia. IFOMP is like a good wine. This happens to be a Shiraz from Australia. To be a Shiraz is to be an IFOMP member, which has benefits. A Shiraz must be recognized as a Shiraz internationally. It must be made of Shiraz grapes, and it could have a couple of other blends, but it must be mostly Shiraz. It must be internationally recognized, where when I take a sip of the Shiraz, yes indeed, that is a Shiraz, and it is a good one. Just like IFOMP is a beautiful blend, but you have to have a certain amount of standards to make it manual therapy. In order to make sure this is a Shiraz everywhere, we have to have some standards, and we must have some monitoring so that we know it's not a Cab, it's not a Merlot, but yes indeed, this is an Australian Shiraz. Let me try that again. Yes, ooh, and let me tell you what I know. I can taste tanginess on the top, black cherry in the back, and an all-over mouthfeel. How did that happen? It happened from knowledge sharing of the vintners who make Shirazes across the world. They have a good knowledge base. Just like IFOMP, we have to share our ideas across the world to make a better Shiraz, to make a better manual therapist. Then we have to have some guidelines. You can't just stomp on some grapes, throw it in a cup, and say, oh, that's a wine. No, there are some guidelines that you have to work as a vintner to go from step 1, grape, and it has to be a good grape. Step 2, step 3, blending it to create a Shiraz. Same thing, manual therapist, yeah, we got hands. That doesn't make you a manual therapist. You have to have guidelines and education to get to become a manual therapist. When you get to be good, and you get to join IFOMP, AOMP, Canada, South Africa, you can get reciprocal recognition. So, Champagne from the Champagne region of France is only Champagne in France. But a Shiraz is a Shiraz is a Shiraz. In France it's a Syrah. But I can take this to France and they'll say, yep, this is a Syrah, and they're going to recognize it as such. So, how do we pull all this together? We must all meet in Melbourne 2020 and lift up the beautiful wines just like we lift up our beautiful profession.